Good afternoon, everyone. My name is Mike Renick. I'm the senior broker, the team lead with Team Renick Real Estate Services, part of that great Keller Williams on the Water family, based out of Sarasota, covering the west coast of Florida, which includes all the barrier islands. I had to think carefully when I started, because normally I say good morning. We do 4 to 5 live Facebook shows per week, all designed to provide you, our clients, our friends, our followers, with information that can make a difference. Well, this is a special edition of Mike's Market Update. Tomorrow, I'm scheduled to be in a course as real estate agents, and something Eric Tio's my broker partner, believe very strongly in is continued education. The only way we can do a good job is to continue to get better and to understand the latest tools, markets, everything. So tomorrow I am scheduled out of the office for that class. But based on our commitment to you, I wanted to bring this broadcast for you sooner, not later. So again, I apologize for the Sunday time frame, but I wanted to get this information out there. So if I hit some right buttons, well, let me share this before we go to the slides. The market is still strong. There's no question about that, but it is changing, and it's not as strong in all areas like it used to be. Are we on the verge of a downturn? I don't think so, and the data doesn't support that. But are we at the point that if we want to leverage as a buyer the best possible price for our purchase, we need to do some homework? Absolutely, and that's your agent's job. If we're a seller, do we want that highest possible price? Well, it's going to take some work in certain areas. We need to understand the market. We need to know what we're up against. That's the purpose of these broadcasts. If you'd like me to deep dive into your area, feel free to reach out. There's absolutely no charge and no obligation. So let me bring the slides forward here. And if I can hit some right buttons and make this full screen. If we look in Sarasota County right now, we see that and I like to look at the average price per square foot. It tries to bring things down on an apple basis as best as possible. I get it. No two properties are the same, but at least we can look at this and combine it with other data. So in the county of Sarasota, we see prices were $203 per square foot. That's up 3% from last month, up 2.5% from last year. And again, in this part of the globe, in this part of Florida, I'm less concerned about month to month as I am about the year trend. To me, it's more long-term. It's a little bit more strategic. And we have fluctuations based on time of year here, based on the seasonality that we have with our cities. So in Sarasota, we're seeing a little bit more of the same. When you combine this with the sales data that I showed last week, it really tells you how you can leverage this as a buyer or seller. That's why all 4 of these factors, sales, price, length of time on the market, how many homes are out there, all the above are important, and I can pull that information together for you. So Sarasota County up from last year. That's a good news story. We jump over to Manatee County. It's also up 3.5% from last year. I like these smaller increases. They're more sustainable. And I've got some data that's going to surprise you in a minute with one of the cities. It just double-digit increase, and we'll talk about that and what that means. So overall, in our 2 major counties, Sarasota and Manatee, we see a continued upward trend in average price per square foot. Started looking at some of our key cities, and we look at Longboat Key, that's also up. Another good news story. It's up from last month. It's up 6% from last year. So prices are continuing to rise. When we look at August of last year, it was $425 a square foot. It's up to $452. Now, it'll be interesting to watch because in September and October data, it fell. So let's see if that's going to happen in Longboat, or can we continue the trend? Those are the kind of stories, that's the kind of analysis that makes a difference. We jump over to Holmes Beach, and this is the one that when I saw the data, I went back and checked it personally to make sure. If you look at it, it's up 52% from last month, 16% from last year at $576 per square foot. That's huge. Now, if you notice, back in January, it did the same thing, and then it leveled back down again. So we'll keep an eye on this. We'll find out what's happening up there. But for those folks that sold in the month of August, there was a huge reward up there. a huge increase, both from a month-to-month perspective and over the past year. So we'll keep an eye on Holmes Beach and Bradenton Beach. Strong part of the island. We go down to Siesta Key, and our friends down there, we see that it was up 3% from last month, but it was down from last year. So let's take a look at June, first of all, at 508. In June of last year, 404. So it's up substantially in June over last year. We move to the July data, 431 versus 475. It's down. In August, 444 from 474, it's down. We're going to want to keep an eye on this part of the market. When we take a look at this, the data is falling. The price per square foot is falling. So that means something different. If you're a seller, you need a different marketing plan. If you're a buyer, we leverage a living daylights out of this information when we make our offers and provide the supporting data for our offer. You know, a fair offer in different parts of the market, in different market segments, whether it's a buyer's market or a seller's market, a fair offer means different things. If we look down at Venice, Venice is up 10% from last year and 2.4% from last month. This is the second hot spot that I'd like to keep an eye on. Venice and then Holmes Beach and Bradenton Beach. Good news stories there. Let's see what the longer term trend is going to do for this part. When we look at the city of Sarasota, we see that it's up a little bit from last month, 2.8%, down a little bit less than 1% from last year. Again, nothing significant. I like where the bar was in November, December, and January. Let's see as we move into those months if we can replicate that for the city of Sarasota. And for the city of Bradenton, again, both are up from last month to last year. Pretty steady in the city of Bradenton. We see numbers very consistent around 160. That's a different kind of market. When we're a seller and a buyer, when things are consistent, is a seller, we want to shake that up a little bit and we see if we can beat those numbers. As a buyer, we want to see if we can beat them on the other way, and there's techniques and tools and things like that we can do. But it comes down to we need to understand how strong sales are. We need to understand, let me bring this back. There's 4 factors we look at. How strong are sales? And we covered that last week. What are prices doing? If sales are going up and prices are going up, that's a home run for the strength of the market. Definitely a home run if you're a seller. Then we look at how much inventory is out there. And then we look at how long is it taking to get it sold. When you combine all of those, you then have an understanding of where the market's at. We can provide that for you down to the subdivision level or down to the condo association level. We're happy to do that. There's no charge. It's information that we believe is necessary to begin negotiating a good deal. If you have any questions, feel free to reach out. Again, my name is Mike Renick. This is a special edition of Mike's Market Update being brought to you on Sunday afternoon instead of Monday morning. My personal cell phone number is 941-400-8735. My email address is mike@teamrenick.com. I look forward to hearing from you. We'll be back again Wednesday morning. We'll be interviewing Michael Henkin, a local attorney, talking about issues that buyers and sellers wrestle with during a transaction. I wish everybody the rest of the Sunday to be one of the best ever, the rest of your weekend, and a super week as we move into Monday. Take care, everyone. Reach out with any questions that you may have.